Today I'm out here riding this 2025 BMW F900 XR. Now guys, I've never ridden this bike before, but after today's ride, I should have a much better idea of what this thing's all about. You gotta stick around for the chase score at the end of the video, and I'll let you know how it scores out. I'm Chaseontwowheels. Welcome to a first ride. Yes, that does sound good. Do you know why? Because it's a parallel twin. Of course it sounded good. You know what else sounds good while I'm saying that? Use Nicardo in your helmet so you can listen to awesome music and talk with your buddies. Discount code right over there. You guys knew it was going to sound good. It's a parallel twin. Come on. Come on. Oh, wait. Alrighty guys, that's what it looks like, and that's what it sounds like. Now, before we get this first ride started, we get to thank my favorite sponsor, and it is easily the best motorcycle phone mount for motorcycles, and that is Quad Lock. Guys, I have been using Quad Locks for almost a freaking decade at this point. It's the only phone mount I trust for motorcycling. So, the way we have it set up on this bike, because they have mounts for literally everything, we have a handlebar clamp here going into the articulating little arm here. What's really neat is you can loosen it and move it around. It's basically my favorite Quad Lock mount for handlebars at this point. And then that mount is going to go into this little vibration damper. And the whole point of that vibration damper is so that the vibrations from the motorcycle don't affect the cameras on your phone. And then at the top we have the lock, which is the locking part of the Quad Lock. That matches the back of your phone. You put it on, rotate it a little bit, rotate it back, and that phone is not going anywhere. That phone is part of this motorcycle. If you wreck, if you do a wheelie, if you do a stoppie, if you do anything, that phone is staying with this bike. Shout out Quad Lock. If you guys want a discount, we'll have links in the description down below. I trust them, and I can very happily suggest them for you guys. All right, guys, that's it for the ads. Thank y'all so much for watching through the ads and then supporting the companies that support us. I tell you guys this every time, but it massively helps this channel out because YouTube doesn't pay shit, so it really allows us to bring you guys the high quality stuff that y'all expect out of the channel. Alright guys, I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and I don't know if it was because where I was coming in with this bike, but I did not expect to almost be able to flat foot this. And if I press down with my legs, I can flat foot, and that's 5'10", 32-inch inseam. So really surprised on that. And we do have a wireless key here, so I've got the key in my pocket, so I'll just hit the power button and the bike will turn on. Now, we are on a brand new bike, and there are modes here, and I'll show you guys. If we hit the mode button, we can go to vehicle. Where is the mode?
12 seconds later.
All right, so as you guys can see, we've got Rain, Road, Dynamic, and Dynamic Pro. So I think I want to have Rain, Road, and Dynamic on. That'll give us a good understanding of, you know, the small, medium, or the low, medium, high options. And then obviously Dynamic Pro and configurable. We're not going to go into, you know, in depth. This is a BMW. It's got a lot of settings you can go through, so we're not going to go into all those. Anyway, guys, that's enough me talking. I'm going to get this bike into neutral, get the mode in rain mode, and then we're going to get this first ride started. All right, guys, our first BMW first ride here at BMW Roswell. Very excited to start working with these guys. Y'all seem to love BMWs when we're able to have them on the channel, so I'm really excited to finally get to work with them. And their dealership is gorgeous on the inside. And no cars. We're going in rain mode. That's got some pickup for rain mode, okay. Also guys, if you don't want to miss a first ride that we put out, make sure to join our email list and join the On2 crew. We email you guys only one time a week, just letting you know what's going on around the channel, because we don't trust YouTube to let you guys know when stuff goes live. Alrighty guys, it's the first ride. Let's talk about body position on the F900XR. Starting with the seat is a little on the firmer side, which I was kind of surprised with this being a sport touring bike. And I will say the seat's comfortable, it's just a little harder, but it also cups your butt really well. So whenever you accelerate, the seat really holds you in place really well. Legs wise, my legs are tucked up underneath me and slightly sporty, and my top half relatively upright with a slight lean forward. Overall, really comfortable body position, and you get all of that kind of pros of being slightly sporty on the lower half and relaxed on the top half. This body position is probably one of my favorite style body positions. I love being comfortable, but also being sporty at the same time. Alrighty, rain mode, cool. Really cuts the power down a decent amount, so I'm gonna hit the mode button here, and we're gonna go from rain mode to road mode. I was surprised at how much power rain mode took out. So it's always the throttling up from rain mode seems okay, but then you start, you spend more time in rain mode and you're like, oh, that's what it's doing. Okay, we'll see what road mode's got. So guys, powering the F900 is I believe it's 895cc parallel twin. So you guys know I'm big fans of parallel twin. This bike's gonna be good for around 105 horsepower and 68 foot-pounds of torque, coming in at a wet weight of 477 pounds. Now, I will say, when I was reading the spec sheet, I was not impressed with the power numbers, and then I was surprised by the weight. It seems, so just from spec, this bike seems heavy and underpowered. So throughout this first ride, I'm very interested to see if the specs were lying or not. Not that those numbers are wrong, but if the bike feels like those specs make it sound. Now, this is going to come as a surprise to literally nobody, but the power delivery in the city out of this parallel twin is so nice. You do have plenty of power to, let's just say, I need to get around traffic. And that's in road mode, so I still have dynamic mode that I can go into. Plenty of power right off the bat, right at the twist of the throttle. It makes riding around the city very nice, but that is kind of what we expect out of a parallel twin. That does not surprise me at all. The parallel twins are just known for that low punchy power. I will be curious to see how it handles the highway, because this is a sport touring motorcycle. This is made to give you everything you need for touring, but not compromise on the sporty aspect of riding. So, you can ride on the highway up to the mountains and then still have a good time. So the bike being a parallel twin is nice for the city, but will it be able to tour on the highway? We'll have to find that out later in the video, so you guys just stay tuned for that. But I also like the body position for checking around. It makes it a lot easier for my head to just kind of be on a swivel. And that's a good thing, because one of the things I'm not a fan of this bike is the mirrors. I don't know if it's because they're so close to me or if they're small, but for whatever reason, I just don't feel like I get a good understanding of what's around me with the mirrors. Like with a good set of mirrors, as I'm riding, I can very easily just kind of glance down and see what I need to see. But with these mirrors, I found myself having to do one of these situations, kind of like look over at the mirror and kind of move around to find a full picture of what's around me. And anytime I do that, I'm having to take away, focus from what's ahead. So that's a kind of a knock for me. But luckily, you're more of an upright body position on this bike, so you can more easily look around. That does help it a little bit, but still not a big fan of the mirrors. If I were to buy this bike, I would definitely look into some aftermarket mirrors that maybe did a better job. I will say, having that what feels like a lower seat height does make the bike very easy when riding around traffic to get your feet on the ground. Wow, there's a giant bolt just perfectly wedged in the road. That's funny. But yeah, coming up to red lights and stuff, which you're going to hit a lot in city traffic, getting your legs on the ground, you feel like you have a lot of control over the bike, even though it's 477 pounds, which it does sound pretty heavy. And as long as you get your feet on the ground, the bike's not too bad to hold up. If you got it leaned over a little too far, I think you'd really start feeling the weight. But I felt like I've had no problem controlling the bike at a stop, like coming to a stop. So BMW's got that figured out. I guess I just expected to get on this bike and be way leaned over. Speaking of leaned over, man, the more I ride this bike, it does not feel like it weighs 477 pounds once you get going. BMW's got the balance down really well on this bike to where it just kind of drifts away once you get some momentum behind you. Now guys, I know I don't normally do this, but do y'all mind if I put it in dynamic mode? I just want to, I want to give it some off the red light and see what kind of pull power we have. Oh snap, guys, we're officially into the 90s now. That is, we are in prime chase sweat season right now. It's about to get tough around these these places, boys. Make sure nobody's gonna kill us, and go. Nice. That I like. That I love parallel twins for that, man. Just off the line, having a good freaking time. So guys, another thing I want to talk about being in the city area is the maneuverability this bike has. With the handlebars, they don't feel that wide, but this bike I have found is crazy maneuverable and very happy going in whatever direction you ask it to. It does not fight you at all. I wouldn't say it jumps in the direction you want it to go, but it is a very easy request to get the bike moving around, which obviously we want that for city settings. We're going to be, you know, dodging traffic and potholes in the ground. We need to have that maneuverability, and this bike definitely has that. Definitely appreciate it. Okay, what else for the city? Damn, those brakes are strong. Front wheel just asking to come up on throttle. Yeah, I think a lot of people are probably going to see a bike like this and be like, ooh, an F900, that's going to be a big bike. It weighs a decent amount. Probably not going to be great in the city, but I think this bike would end up surprising a lot of you guys riding around city environments. The clutch pull is also really easy, which I would not have expected that on this bike. I would have expected the clutch to be a little heavier here, but it's been really nice. Are you going to try to get over? I have a feeling you are, Prius, or you're just driving irrationally slow. Are we going to get the green? Are we going to get to do our 40 to 80 pull with a green? Of course not. Red runner. We don't run red lights here. We just ride around and barely don't get tickets because of no tags. Oh shit, does this bike have a tag on it? I don't know the answer to that question. While we are stuck here, I kind of want to put the bike in the other dash mode because you can do that. So that's the other dash mode, and now we get to see how much brake and how much traction control there is. That'll be a fun little thing to watch. And we get a lean thing. So guys, let's find out how fast a BMW F900 XR can go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour, as long as this car doesn't run me off the road. Here, we're gonna let him go. All right, I think it's a second gear situation. We got some clear highway. Awesome, love it. On your mark, get set, go. That's 80, ladies and gentlemen, that is 80. What was the time on that? I don't know if BMW neuters their bikes when they're brand new, but that was not bad. Hey, we can try out one of the cool things. This is adjustable just by doing that. Holy shit, that helps a lot. So here we are on the highway, somewhere where this bike should be sick. First off, love the fact that the windscreen is adjustable and does it that easily. As you guys can see, you just pull that up. It's a little harder to get once you got some wind behind it, but I was still able to do it with one hand, no problem. Here on the highway, going in 6th gear, and this bike is a dream. I only have the slightest vibrations in my handlebars and my foot pegs. I can barely feel them. Power-wise, we have plenty of power to get around traffic. We're just purring at 5,000 RPMs going 80 miles an hour, so no problem there. As you would expect on a sport touring bike, we do have cruise control. So all we got to do to engage cruise control is go over and then hit down, and that will set the cruise control. Absolutely stellar use of cruise control. Also, this bike seems like it's tracking incredibly well here on the highway. It is just going in a perfectly straight line. I'm not getting blown around at all. This is impressive. Also, update on the seat. The seat is still feeling fantastic. That harder seat's probably doing a good job of not fatiguing me, so I do appreciate that. But this thing is everything you would want for a bike that has touring in the name. It tracks well, it's got plenty of power, it's still maneuverable on the highway, has cruise control, has nice wind protection. The only wind that I really feel is on the outskirts of my arms, and on a hot day today, that actually feels pretty good. Yeah, I love this thing for the highway, actually. I was a little worried at it being a 900 and maybe not having enough power for the highway, but as you guys are seeing, that is not the case at all. I also can't decide which dash I like more. I don't know if I like this dash or the more stereotypical BMW dash, because this one shows my lean angle, and that's kind of cool. All right, that's it for the highway, guys. Wow, what a good showing. I guess I should have expected that for the highway, but like I said, with it not being the GS, I thought it would have to compromise, and that is very much so not the case. Are we parked up on the turn again? We got behind a semi here earlier and it parked us up. Oh, we're behind a cruiser. No comment. A lean angle of 26 degrees. Suspension is fantastic. It's not electronically adjustable. It is manually adjustable though. And so far, it seems relatively soft, and which is nice. The ride has been very comfortable. But anytime I get going, I have no problem throwing the bike around. And I'm not feeling any kind of like oscillation in the suspension. So, you know, a lot of the time if the suspension is too soft, you won't get that really sturdy feeling when you get the bike leaned over, but that's not the case here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this suspension, which again, super important, right? Sport touring. I got to be comfortable and tour around, but I also want to be sporty. So the suspension, if it compromised the sport too much, it would kind of defeat the entire purpose of the bike. One of the other things about the suspension that I really do like is that it's adjustable just by your fingers. You don't have to have a tool to adjust it. So that's pretty cool. I do wish I was able to see the suspension better from the rider perspective, but you know, you've only got so much geometry, so you can only do so much, really. So power wise, guys, I'm very happy with this parallel twin. It's punchy. It didn't die off on the highway, which is I was a little worried about, and the delivery of the power in the throttle I think is nice. The power's coming on when I'm kind of wanting it to. You know, BMWs in the past, they had a little bit of an, wow, that was a bunny mask on top of that helmet. I've never seen that. The BMW in the past have sometimes been hit or miss with their throttle. Sometimes there's just not a great connection between the throttle and the motorcycle and you as the rider. But this bike, I'm not feeling that, at least in the dynamic mode. You know, I twist the throttle and I get that feel that I want, that acceleration. So BMW's got it going good here. What do we got? Little jigs? What up, sir? Decked out in Dainese stuff. So I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but this bike does have a quick shifter, and I will say the quick shifter is where I'm starting to feel the electronic separation between me and the bike. When I use the quick shifter and I click up, I get a little bit of lever push, and then I almost feel like it's pressing a button that engages the shift. So there is a little disconnect between shifting and the motorcycle there, that kind of electronic difference. I know that's electronically what the quick shifter is doing, but you can also design that in a way that you get better feel as the rider. So I think BMW could definitely increase the rider feel from that perspective. So we didn't talk about gearing yet. Gearing feels right on this bike. You know, it's got that punchy power. It feels a little tall, but I don't really mind that because it gives me that sporty feeling that I want on a bike like this. So I'm okay with that, with the slightly taller gears. And as far as the brakes, the rear brake lever has to be pressed a little far before it actually starts engaging. I kind of wish it had less of a throw if I was to, you know, adjust it. I don't know if you can adjust that out or not. The good thing is the front braking is strong, and it's right off the gate. You get a lot of power in that brake. It also, like, if I want to finesse it, it has a small little margin up front where I can really fine-tune my speed. Why are we not going? You don't want to get hit by a red truck. I would not want to go for that either. But yeah, guys, I do feel like the front brake is really nice. We have a Brembo front and rear brake, so brakes wise, they are bringing some nicer stuff. I'm gonna go around, please don't kill me. All right, let's talk about the dash up here, guys. If you're used to BMW, this is gonna seem very normal for you. We have our BMW menu scroll wheel. We've got the menu button, the traction control, a few other buttons, including the cruise control. Okay, sorry, I don't trust openings and lines of cars. So we've got a decent amount of stuff over here. I'm kind of used to BMWs. I've ridden a few recently. So if you've ridden a BMW, like a higher class model BMW, it's going to feel the exact same. Everything feels premium like you would expect. The levers are adjustable. They feel good. They have a good texture to them that I appreciate. On the right side, we have heated grips, we have the mode button, and we have the startup button, a little switch. And another cool thing we have on the right side is a SOS button, and it looks like a fighter jet button. Look at this thing. So all I have to do is flip that up, and now I have an SOS button. I'm gonna be 100% with you guys. I have no idea what that button is, and I am not gonna press it, but it's there. All right, so let's talk about the screen real quick. And if you guys are wondering what this thing is, most BMWs come with this, and what this is a GPS mount for your motorcycle. So if you don't have a GPS, you don't need one, it's kind of pointless. But if you have a GPS that you want to install, you can just click it onto here and it'll mount up relatively easily. Next up, we have the BMW screen, the TFT dash. This screen is great. The BMW screen, design-wise, is one of my favorite screens. I feel like their menu system is also relatively easy and straightforward to get through. I would say Ducati probably has my favorite screen on their higher up models, and BMW is right behind with theirs. This screen is also one of those screens that is very in-depth. I could spend multiple videos going through the screen with you guys. I'll just say it looks good, it looks high quality, I love the color, I love the design, and the user interface, there's a lot of stuff going on there. If we hit the menu button, or will it let us? Yeah. But there's a lot going on, but it makes it a little easier because we can use the wheel here. So BMW has this little wheel that you can kind of push side to side, up and down. It makes going through a complicated menu a lot easier, so I do appreciate that. Woo! That's a lot of info, guys. To be fair, we got a bike with a lot of stuff going on, so that's kind of, you know, par for the course. And it looks like we're gonna make it back with just enough mileage. All right, so guys, that's a lot to touch on, but I think I touched on the major points of this motorcycle. So the question is now, how is it gonna fare with the chase score? Let's find out.
Later.
We can't use the parking lot. Oh my gosh, guys, what do we do? Oh no, the kids Olympics shut us down. We're gonna have to find an alternate parking lot. This has never happened. In all of the years that I've come to that parking lot, I've never been able to not turn into it. To be fair, I could have gone around the cones, but I'm not gonna do that. All right, we gotta find a plan B parking lot. It's always fun to have something throw us off on a first ride. You know what I mean? Like running out of gas or something like that. It adds a little seasoning to the first ride. Otherwise, you guys might get bored of me talking about motorcycles. Of course, you would never allow that to happen, right, guys? I'm interested to see what the sound of the audio is like with my visor fully open right now, going 40. And then fully shut. And then open again.
Alright guys, so let's check out the chase score for the 2025 BMW F900 XR. For throttle response, I'm going to give it a 7. It felt dialed in, especially in that dynamic mode, but not ultra crisp. Next up we have agility, and for that I'm going to give it a 7. It was impressive how balanced it was and easy to toss around, especially once it got rolling. For brakes, I'm going to give it a 7. Those front Brembos are strong, but the rear feel and the throw really bring it down. For acceleration, I'm going to give it a bike a 6. It's got a good punch, but the specs and the actual pull just don't really wow. For suspension, I'm going to give it a 7. It was plush yet comfortable, though not electronically adjustable. For comfort, I'm going to give this bike a 7. The seat is firm, but it's really supportive, and it's great for longer rides. For tech, I'm giving the bike an 8. It's got TFT, cruise, ride modes, and that slick screen layout, and they are all top-notch. For ease of use, it is a BMW, so I'm going to give it a 6. BMW's controls feel familiar if you know them, but a bit much if you're new to them. Now, for versatility, I'm going to give the bike a 7. For commutes, weekend trips, and spirited rides, they are all going to feel fantastic on this thing. For fun for the money, I'm going to give it a 7. $15,600 feels fair for what it offers, but it's not cheap fun. Alright, so guys, that's going to give a ride score of 34, a usability score of 35, giving it a total chase score of 69.
Alrighty guys, that's my chase score. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comments down below. So guys, for a motorcycle that's kind of in the middle class for the BMW, I think the price for this is coming in at like, what is it, $15,300, $15,600? This bike is doing a lot of work. And with competitors like the Multistrada V2, the Suzuki V-Strom 1050, and the, what is it, Yamaha Yamaha Chaser 9 GT Plus. This bike, I think, looks way better than all of those. And it actually, even for a BMW, is competitively priced. So I think of all of those, this might be one of my favorite sport touring motorcycles. Mostly because I'm a really big fan of the looks of the XR class that BMW is bringing. I just love the way this bike looks. The only hang up I have with sport touring bikes, to be honest with you guys, is the pricing. You know, for this bike, it's a BMW, so the 15.6 price tag makes sense. But I remember when I rode the Chaser 9 GT Plus around at the press launch, I was like, this bike is 15 grand? Holy crap, or at least it was at that point. I'm not sure if it still is. But you guys tell me in the comments, why are these sport touring bikes so dang expensive? To be fair, they can tour and they can do sporty stuff, which is everything I'm looking to do on a sport touring bike, so I guess I should shut the hell up. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for this video. Thank you guys for riding around with me in this one. Big shout out to BMW Roswell for loaning us this bike. This is our first bike we've done a video with those guys, and I am so excited. So if you guys want to check them out, I will have a link for them in the description down below. It'll say bike provided by. If you guys want to see a dope showroom, go check out BMW Roswell. And guys, it's YouTube. Make sure you share this video out with somebody you want to go do a long tour with that ends you on some fun roads, because that's what this bike is all a freaking about. I'm Chaseontwowheels. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you like motorcycle content, and I will see you guys on the next one. You guys go out there and ride safe. Later.